Hi, my name's Eluned Gold, and I am really delighted to have this opportunity to talk to you. And I'm sorry that I can't be with you in person, but hopefully this will give you a small taste of some of the work that I do around mindfulness with parents. I want to talk to you today about why mindfulness can be helpful with families, excuse me, and about two programs in particular: mindfulness-based childbirth and parenting, and the Nurturing Parents program. A society that values its children should cherish their parents. I do feel that these days society has lost its way in terms of the way that we treat and support our young families. I think that we have become people, commodities, workers first, and family members second. And given that parenting must be the most important task, not just for the individual, not just for the family, but for society as a whole, it seems to me that we've got that rather skewed. If you haven't already come across this great report, I do recommend it. It was a report to the all-party parliamentary group on early years. So it covers from conception to age 2, and there really are some quite startling statistics contained within this report about the impact of trauma or lack of support in the early years of families. So some of these statistics are a little bit old now, but nothing in the last 5 years has indicated that things are really changing in the right direction. Many of our young families now are within this bracket of low-income households. Many have to have 2 parents working in order to make ends meet. The benefit system, the changes to the benefit system have disproportionately affected parents in recent years. The mental health services in this country have declined, and services to family, particularly to preschool families, is also declining. So I think this is all evidence that as a society and politically we really are moving in the wrong direction. Poor mental health affects a parent's capacity to form attachments with their children. And this early attachment, these early relationships, we know are crucial for the healthy mental and physical development of children. If we move to the pre-birth period, prenatal stress has long-term mental and physical health effects for the mother, for the baby, the developing child, and ultimately the adult that child will become. These effects are lifelong. We're beginning to understand more and more now about how our genetic expression is activated, and we know now that when a woman is pregnant, the experience that she has during that time of pregnancy affect the fetus, and if she's carrying a girl child, then it will be affecting the formation of the eggs growing within that child. So it's rather mind-boggling, but we will be affecting the next 2 generations. I do believe that all parents are born, we're biologically programmed to love and care for our offspring. We're emotionally inclined to love and care for our offspring. And yet, as every parent knows, there will be times when that is increasingly difficult. we meet these closed states of self-defense when the threat system overrides the other systems in the body, the systems that are open to love and caring, and we act as if we're under threat, and we may well be under threat, but often that threat is perceived rather than real. Love is a state of openness to another person, and it competes in our bodies and brains with closed states of self-defense. And this is where I really do think that mindfulness can play a part in helping us recognize these closed states of self-defense, and then giving us tools to recognize and to manage them swiftly, to reduce our states of self-defense. I want to come on now to talk to you about these two mindfulness programs, mindfulness-based childbirth and parenting, preparing the body, mind and heart for childbirth and beyond. What could be more important? And the Nurturing Parents program has been developed for parents later on in their parenting career, perhaps parents who are under particular stress from health issues or poor socioeconomic situation. Nurturing Parents, opening the heart-mind, really addressing those closed states of self-defense which get in the way of our being open to connection with our children. The Mindful Birthing, this is a lovely book written by my friend and colleague Nancy Bardacke, who's a midwife in America. The 4 intentions of MBCP. Life skills for stress during pregnancy and beyond. Teaching mindfulness skills, as we know, are not just a one-off. They last for a lifetime. It's a way of life. Mindfulness skills for working with pain and fear during childbirth. There's a lot of information these days about childbirth, and some of it seems to be oriented towards shock and anxiety about the birth. So this course doesn't shy away from the fact that birthing is painful, but teaches us skills to manage that, to deal with that. Mindfulness skills for parenting with wisdom and compassion after birth, and skills for interrupting intergenerational patterns of suffering. So the MBCP program teaches skills for managing stress antenatally, managing pain in childbirth, managing stress and fear during birth, and communication during childbirth. Communicating with our partners, with our birth supporters, with the team of helpers around us. And mindfulness for parenting, reducing stress, supporting attachment and improving family relationships. We know that stress from fear of childbirth has an impact on the birthing for the woman and for the baby, lower pain tolerance, greater use of medication, longer labours, and a more difficult adjustment after birth. And BCP is also showing to address some of the risk factors for postnatal depression. So this particular study showed that participants continue to use their mindfulness practice after birth. That increases their capacity to cope with stress and be available for attunement to their child. Let's take a pause for a moment or two. Feeling your feet on the floor, bottom on the chairs, and breath in the body. I'd like to move on now to talk to you about the Nurturing Parents program, mindfulness-based parent well-being. The intentions of this program are to improve emotional availability and attachment, improve emotional regulation, to reduce this defensiveness, the blocked parenting that gets in the way of our openness to love and attachment, attunement to our children. Improve executive function and interrupting intergenerational negative patterns of parenting. So the skills of mindful parenting, opening the heart-mind, recognizing when we're in auto-parent, recognizing stressful states and cultivating the skills to regulate intense emotion, gentleness and non-judgment. It's surprisingly difficult for parents to be gentle with themselves. Developing curiosity and openness, particularly to parenting situations. Cultivating patience. Connecting with joy and recognizing positive events and taking the time to integrate them. Improving empathy and strengthening the executive system. Some of the key messages that we call on during the Nurturing Parents program. Understanding that stress is an off switch to connection. When we're stressed, all of our resources are turned inwards towards the threat and survival, and we're not available, we're not available for connection with our children. Seeds of kindness. Sometimes difficult to cultivate kindness towards ourselves, but we begin in the Nurturing Parents by just cultivating the conditions where kindness may begin to grow. We can change our brain. We can change our relationship with difficulty. We explore parental values. We know that one of the stressful situations is when we're not living according to our own values. And very often parenting becomes automatic, and we sometimes wake up to realize that we've been acting, behaving in ways that are not in accordance with our own values. So, investigations so far shows that this approach can be delivered in appropriate and acceptable ways, lead to increase in well-being in stressed parents. It's delivered in a flexible way that's adapted to client needs. And that staff development training is an important ingredient for sustainable projects. My ambition with this program really is to train teams of staff who are already working with families in difficult situations to deliver this program so that it becomes integrated into the care that's already being offered. Taps into the skills that already exist within so many family support organisations. This report was commissioned by Bernardo's, who one of the organisations who have trained some of their staff to deliver this programme. There's a monetary value for every pound invested in training. And some of the outcomes, not just for the participants, but for staff as well, were reduced stress and anxiety, reassurance of not being alone, ability to deal with situations differently, reduced isolation, improved mental health, increased confidence and better family relationships. If you'd like to find out some more about either of these programs or both of them, do please get in touch. You can go to Nancy's website, mindfulbirthing.org, or to mine, mindfulnessofamilies.net, or just email me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So thank you so much for listening, and I would just like to leave you with this last slide, which really does fill me with joy. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the conference and that this has been a useful, short excursion into mindfulness of families. Bye-bye.